Hello there kids, today we are going to learn how to solve for the missing angle along a straight line. Okay, so in other words, we're basically talking about angles in this topic. So review muna tayo. I know that I have introduced to you about angles last time. So then again, we have certain points muna. It all starts with a point. And we can note this point as point A. And if there is another point somewhere, we can note this as point B. So when you're going to connect 2 points or 2 dots, you are going to have a line. Okay, so in this case, this line is called line A, B. Since we are using points A and B, put them together, it is now called line A, B. Okay, so that's how line forms, no? Because of points, 2 points, combining them, just like when you were younger, you used to play this mga connect the dots, no, to form a certain shape. So yan yung basically build up ng line. Okay, now how do we form an angle? Now just to let you know, an angle basically is like an opening. For example, this is an angle. This is called an angle. The opening. This is also an angle. The opening, okay, of 2 lines. So in other words, if we have 3 points right now, we have point A, we have point B, and we have point C. And if you're going to put them together to form a line, we have line AB here, and we have another line BC over here. Now, these 3 points basically formed an angle. So, parang opening yan siya. Okay. So, in angles pala, may basic information tayo. In angles, when you see a straight line, let's say from point A to point B, if you see a straight line, it's like having an opening that opened basically all the way from this point to this point. Okay? So, para ba siyang slowly lang siya for example, ito, this is like an opening, right? And if I move it further, removing this part, so mas nag-open yung mouth natin. Then if I'm going to add another line here, which is another opening, and removing the other line earlier, so if you observed, it opened more. To a point of opening it even more, removing this part. So I hope that you see my point here. Now, as it extends further, the opening extends further to this point, until at some point it basically forms a straight line. The opening formed a straight line. Okay, so just like the drawing sa taas, no. So this is now a straight line, line AB. In a straight line, the angle measures 180 degrees. Okay, so the sign here, if you notice this little circle here, this is read as degrees. This is the basic unit of angles. Okay, basic unit of angles. Basic units of angles. Basic unit of angles. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, on a straight line, there is an equivalent of 180 degrees. Okay. Then again, I'm going to draw a straight line in which we have point A and point B. And let's say we have point C somewhere here. And draw and connect this line along the line AB to having a certain point over here. Okay, and let us name this point here as O. Okay, this is basically always O. So if you notice, we now have 2 angles. We have this one angle over here and this other angle over here. So how do we name an angle? so that you will not get confused. How do you name angles? So if you notice, we have this angle here and the other angle over here. Okay. So this is angle 1, this is angle 2. So paano tayo nagne-name ng angles? Okay. So if you notice that you have this certain point here which is called O. Yan, yung O na yan. Where mga points, where angles meet, no? Where points meet, same point nila. For example, ito, this is line AO. And this is line CO. So if you notice that their common point is O, no? Line AO and the line CO. So this is their common point. Their common point is called a vertex. Okay? Vertex ang tawag dyan. It's called a vertex. So with their common point as O, we can now name this angle. Erase ko lang to. Since this is line AO going here and this is line CO going here, we can now name this angle as angle AOC. Okay, you might ask me, Teacher Mark, can we change the letters? Can we like do it angle ACO? Angle ACO? Pwede po ba, Teacher Mark? No, it cannot be. That can't be because you should take note that the vertex should be located at the center. Dapat sa gitna ang ating vertex. Okay? So this is basically how you name an angle. So to make it less complicated, so if we have a different angle here, let's say this is A, B, C. So if you notice, we have line AB here. And we have line BC over here. And if you notice that their common points, their common point is point B. So which means you can now name this angle as angle ABC. Okay, so ganun lang yung pag-name ng angle. Always put the vertex at the center of these names. Okay? So ganun lang ang pag-solve sa kanila. Not solving, but naming the angles rather. So in this drawing kanina, there are basically two angles there. And some use the same lines. So for example, ito, erase ko lang muna to. Okay. The other angle is this one. Line CO and line OB. So technically, if you notice, we made use of the same line CO, which is okay. Okay lang yun. Walang problema doon. And their common point here is O. So which means we can now name this angle as angle COB. Okay, there are two angles now. Okay. So ganun lang yung basic information when we name angles. Then again, if we try to make use of different letters, let's say we have this point X here, this is point Y, and our vertex, let's always use 0 or O rather, sorry. And let's say we have point Z over here. So naming this, we have two angles, obviously we have 1, 2, and naming them, we have line XO over here, XO, and line ZO. And if you notice that their common point is O, so this now angle can be read as angle XOZ. Okay, dito naman ngayon, sa kabila, using blue, let's use blue. We have line ZO as well. And we also have line OY. Okay. So, composition, basic point nila, common point nila is O. So, which means O is their vertex, no? So, we can now name this angle as angle ZOY. Okay? So, this is angle XOY. Z, and this is angle ZOY. Okay, so it is a very basically important for us to solve, to learn how to read or to name angles. Okay, naming angles muna tayo. Okay, that's the basic of naming angles. Okay, so from a point going to lines, no, from points nagfo-form ng line, then from line forming angles, and basically a straight line forms a straight angle which is equivalent to 180 degrees. Okay, so naming angles lang tayo. We are basically naming the angle. So yan ang basic ng naming. Because why do we need to name angles? Because it will help us in solving for the missing angle along a straight line. Okay, so ganun lang yun. Yung basic natin. Okay. Now, how do we solve for the missing angle? If you noticed earlier, I already told you that a straight line, let's say this is line AB with a vertex of O. This angle over here, this angle AOB is a straight line. And once you have a straight line, this automatically is equivalent to 180 degrees. Okay? Automatic yan. 180 degrees. Which means, if you have two angles within the straight line, so for example, meron tayong another line here which forms our line. Let's say this is point C. Okay, now if you notice, we now have two angles, no? Etong angle na to and this one. If you notice, if you have learned yung kanina, yung ginagawa natin, we have line AO there, we have line AO, you have line CO, which means common point nila is O, so we can name this as angle AOC. And in this case, you have line CO as well, and line OB. Common point natin is O, so which means we can now name this angle as angle COB. Okay, tanggalin ko lang yung mga other information kanina. Okay, just to make it clear. So which means we now have two angles here. You have angle AOC, and you also have angle COB. Like what I've said earlier, a straight line is equivalent to 180 degrees, which means these two angles, angle AOC and angle COB, if you're going to add them both, this is now equivalent to 180 degrees. But the problem here is that you do not know the value for angle AOC and also for angle COB. Hindi natin alam ang value nila. So, okay lang. So, this is the part that you are going to learn how to solve. But then again, you cannot solve for the missing angle if all angles are missing. Okay? Hindi natin magagawa yan unless one angle will be given. Okay, so paano natin gagawin yan? We have line AB. Okay, solving part na tayo ha. This is now C. Okay. Let's say this angle is equivalent to, let's say, mga 47 degrees. That is now teacher Mark's estimate lang. This is roughly around 47 degrees. Now, what you are tasked to solve for is this missing angle here. So, in this case, advanced na to ha. Like what I've said, this is an advanced topic na. So, you need to pay attention. So, in this case, all you need to do is to name the angles. By now, you should be able to master the naming of angle na. And easily name this as angle AOC. And this is angle COB. So, you know that angle AOC, data gathering muna tayo, AOC. You don't know the angle. Hindi natin alam yung measurement. While for angle COB, you know that it is 47 degrees. And since they are along a straight line, you should know that adding these two will give you an equivalent of 180 degrees. In other words, you need to write them down as an equation, such as angle AOC plus angle COB is equivalent to 180 degrees. Okay, these two angles should be equivalent to 180 degrees. And since you know that angle COB is equivalent to 47 degrees, all you need to do is just to substitute the value. Angle AOC plus 47 degrees. Now, you might ask me, Teacher Mark, saan galing yung 47 degrees? Like what I've said earlier, if you notice nga, angle COB is equivalent to 47 degrees. Okay? It's equivalent to 47 degrees. Now, ang nangyari dito is that you just need to replace the value of angle COB rather, para ma-solve natin yung value ng AOC. This one. So, this is higher mathematics na. Advanced lang to for me to see if kaya nyo tong gawin. But I think if we are only at school right now, this will be easy as pie. Kaso mahirap talaga pag online. Okay? So anyway, I'll try my best to assist you with this one. Anyway, I'm gonna repeat this exercise. I-repeat natin tong exercise na to. So to solve for this one, there are certain terms that you need to be familiar with. And the basic term that you are going to learn now is called elimination. Okay, let me rewrite the equation. Angle AOC plus 47 degrees equals 180 degrees. Okay, we are solving for angle AOC and you want to leave angle AOC alone, which means you want to remove this plus 47 here. Since it is plus 47, what will you do with it? Or what will you add or subtract to it for it to become 0? What will you do with 47 in terms of addition or subtraction to make it equivalent to 0? Okay. So since it's plus 47, all you need to do is, syempre, para maging 0 siya, all you need to do is to minus 47. Because 47 minus 47 is 0. Any number subtracted to itself is equivalent to 0. So, ibig sabihin dito, let us rewrite the equation. Angle AOC plus 47 degrees minus 47 degrees. Okay, alam nyo na that it's 0. It's equivalent to 180 degrees. Okay, we have this certain rule pala sa mathematics in algebra that what you do in one side of the equation, kasi if you notice this equal sign, no, yung equal sign na to, yung equal sign na yan, this represents, this basically breaks two sides. This is one side and this is the other side of the equation. Okay? So, if we, a golden rule, no, sa algebra, what you do in one side, since nag-minus 47 tayo dito, you should also do it to the other side of the equation, which is in this case, dapat din natin mag-minus 47 degrees as well here. Okay, sige lang, confusing. I know, it's confusing. Kasi nga, you're still learning. It's okay. And knowing that 47 minus 47 is 0, so wala na yan. Wala nang value yan. No, eliminated na yan. So which means, rewriting this, we now have angle AOC equals 180 degrees minus 47 degrees. And solving this, of course, subtract nyo lang. Angle AOC, so that's 180 degrees minus 47. Borrow tayo, this will become 7, this will become 10. 10 minus 7 is 3, 7 minus 4 is 3. And bring down 1, so that's equivalent to 133 degrees. Okay. Teacher Mark will be honest with you that there is a shortcut doing this, but I don't want you to do the shortcut for now. I want you to do this the algebraic way of solving it. Okay? Then again, my shortcut to. I have that video with the grade 6, no? With the grade 6. Meron akong recent video niya. Sorry, with the grade 5 rather. I have that recent video with the grade 5, and if you have the time, you'll be able to watch that video as well. Pero for now, dito muna tayo. Again, just for you to get used to this. Straight line, points A and B, vertex natin is O, and let's say there is a point C over here. Okay. So then again, we have two angles here. You don't know this angle here, but this angle should be given. So in this case, let's say this is 110 degrees. So how do we solve for the other angle? So naming this angle, you should know by now that this is angle AOC and this is angle COB. So which means ang COB nyo is equivalent to 110 degrees. So all you need to do now is to rewrite the names of the angles, which is we have angle AOC plus angle COB and equate it to 180 degrees. Kasi nga, knowing that a straight line is equivalent to 180 degrees. Okay, 180 degrees. So, equate nyo lang muna. Meron tayo ngayon. Angle AOC nyo is missing, but angle COB is given. So, we can now replace or substitute the value. Angle AOC and angle COB is 110 degrees, which is now equivalent to 180 degrees. What's the next step? We want to leave angle AOC, which means you want to remove 110 here. So, paano natin i-zero yan, si 110? So, by simply subtracting the same value, 110 degrees minus 110 degrees. And what's the golden rule in mathematics? What you do in one side of the equation, you should also do it on the other side of the equation. So, ibig sabihin, if nag-minus 110 kayo dito, you should also do the same thing at the other side, which is in this case is also 110, minus 110. Okay? So, you should know that positive or plus 110 minus 110 is now equivalent to 0. So, rewrite nyo lang, this is now left with just angle AOC. And we now have 180 degrees minus 110 degrees. So if you notice, no, medyo madali na siya. Medyo mabilis na tayo kasi we are already just doing this. Ipa-practice lang natin to. I will give more examples pa regarding this one. So all you need to do now is just to subtract 180 degrees minus 110 degrees. 0, 8 minus 1 is 7. 1 minus 1 is 0. So you're left with just 70 degrees. So we now have angle AOC is equivalent to 70 degrees. Ganun lang. That's how easy it is. Okay, sige. More example. Now, I'll try to change the points. I'll try to change the points. We now have X, Y, O pa rin ang vertex natin. Let's just note it as O all the time. And we have Z over here. So, the same lang yan. You have line XO, you have line OZ. So which means common point nila is O. So you can put them together. And not put them together, pero yun ang common point nila. So which means this angle should now be called as angle XOZ. Okay? XOZ yan. And dito naman sa kabila ngayon, we have line ZO pa rin. Or OZ, it's just the same even if you're going to interchange. And here you have line OY. So we have O and O, common point nila. So which means this will now be angle ZOY. Okay, so the same lang. Ni-explain ko lang ulit. It's just that in this case, we have different points, yung letters natin. Earlier, we always use ABC. Ngayon naman, we use a different letter, which is X, Y, and Z. Okay, so anyway, yun, parehas lang yan. Now, knowing at this point, let's say, then again, given lang to, this is 27 degrees, and this angle over here is missing as well. So, then again, just take the names of the angles. We have angle XOZ plus angle ZOY is now equivalent to 180 degrees. Teacher Mark, why is it 180 degrees? Kasi angle XOY, if you notice this, is a straight line. And a straight line is equivalent to 180 degrees. Always. Okay? Parati yan. It's always 180 degrees. Okay, so nandito na tayo ngayon. Okay, so do the same thing lang. Knowing that angle ZOY here is 27 degrees, substitute lang natin yung value niya. So we now have angle XOZ plus plus 27 degrees equals to 180 degrees. Okay, then again, to a point of, you want to leave angle XOZ alone in one side of the equation, which means you want to remove plus 27 here. So doing so, you just need to subtract, no, to make it 0. Kailangan nyo lang gawing 0 yan. So anong gagawin natin ngayon? Angle XOZ is now equivalent to or plus 27 degrees minus 27 degrees equivalent to 180 degrees. Like what we said earlier, golden rule natin, what you do in one side of the equation, if nag-minus 27 tayo dito, you should also minus 27 here, or subtract 27 on the other side of the equation. So, knowing that plus or positive 27 minus 27 is 0, so we are just now left with angle XOZ equals 180 degrees minus 27 degrees. So from here, solve na tayo. 180 degrees minus 27 degrees. This is now equivalent to 7. This is 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 7 minus 2 is 5. And bring down 1. Okay. So 153 degrees ang answer natin dito, which means angle XOZ is equivalent to 153 degrees. Okay, ganun lang. That's how easy it is. Okay, now what if you're going to encounter 3 missing angles? I mean 2 missing angles rather. Points A and B. Let's say you have point C over here, and you have point D over here. Okay, so vertex natin is still O. So if you notice, we now have 3 angles. We have 1, 2, 3. So 3 angles tayo meron ngayon. And naming them according to their line. You have line AOD here. I mean line AD. Sorry, AO rather, sorry. AO, and you have DO here. Common point is O, so which means this is angle A, O, D. Then again, you still have DO over here, and this line is OC. So common point natin is O, which means this is angle DOC. Okay, I hope that you were able to see the name, no? This is angle AOD. I hope you were able to see that point, okay? And dito naman ngayon, you have line CO and you have line OB. Common point nyo is O. So we now have this angle as angle COB. Okay? So ganun lang yan. Ganun lang ang naming natin. That's how easy to name angles. So if you notice, no, explain ko lang further. This is angle AOD kasi this is A going to O going to D. This is angle DOC because from point D going to O going to C. And this is angle COB because it's point going point C, point O, and point B. Okay? So that's how you basically name angles. Okay, let's try to do this na. Okay. So in this case, 2 angles should be given. So let's take this as our missing angle pa rin, angle AOD. And let's say this angle is equivalent to 41 degrees and the other one is, let's say, 40 degrees alone. Okay. So remember ngayon, you have 3 angles, no? You have angle AOD, you have angle DOC, and you have angle COB, and all of them are still along a straight line, so which means adding them all up will still give you an equivalent of 180 degrees. Okay, 180 degrees pa rin siya. Okay, so All you need to do here is just to substitute the given values, which is in this case, you have DOC, which is equivalent to 40 degrees, and COB, which is equivalent to 41 degrees. So, ibig sabihin, rewriting this, you should know that DOC should be equivalent to 40 degrees, and COB, which should be equivalent to 41 degrees, and angle AOD, which is still angle AOD, and equivalent to 180 degrees. So, first things first, what do you need to do here now? I-add nyo lang po ito, 40 and 41. What is 40? 1 plus 40, this is equivalent to 81. Okay, 81 degrees yan. So, ibig sabihin dito, rewriting this, knowing that 40 and 41 will give you 81, that's angle AOD plus 81 degrees equivalent to 180 degrees. Okay, so ganun lang po kadali itong process na to. So, what you do here now is the same thing lang sa kung anong ginawa natin kanina sa mga other examples. You want to leave angle AOD and you want to remove positive 81 here or plus 81 here by simply making it equivalent to 0. Diba? Making it equivalent to 0. So, which means in this case, angle AOD plus 81 degrees minus 81 degrees just to make it 0. And we have 180 degrees here. And the same thing lang. See, what you do in one side of the equation, since nag-minus 81 tayo dito, you should also subtract 81 from this side of the equation. Okay, so ganun lang. Minus 81 din sa kabila. So, knowing that 81 minus 81 will give you 0, so you are just now left with angle AOD equals 180 degrees minus 81. So, ano gagawin natin dito ngayon? 180 minus 81. So, subtract lang natin. We now have this as 7. And this is equivalent to 10. 10 minus 1 will give you 9. And 7 minus 8, hindi pwede. So, magbabarrow tayo. And 7 will become 17. And 17 minus 8 will give us 9. So, the answer here is 99. So, which means angle AOD is equivalent to 99 degrees. So, in other words, itong angle na to is basically equivalent to 99 degrees. So, yung mga answer nyo kanina, angle XOZ is 153, which means this angle over here is 153 degrees. Angle AOC here is 70, which means angle AOC here is 70 degrees. Angle AOC nyo dito is 133, which means in this case 133 degrees ang sagot dito, and so on for the other examples that we did. Okay, so be patient enough for this activity. This is very long. I hope that you have learned. Again, this is an advanced topic, no? Mas maganda sana to if personal tayo, so please be patient, more patient. Like what I've said, there are other ways to do this. I just don't want you to do the shortcut yet. I want you to learn the proper way of doing it, to understand bakit natin ginagawa to, bakit tayo nagma-minus the other side of the equation. So, this is just an introduction to basically a basic mathematics, a basic algebra yan. Okay, so technically, you are now learning algebra. So, that's the good thing here. Okay, so anyway, that is it. I hope that you have learned and will be able to do this on your own. Okay, so that is it for the week.